So today at 10 Violins, I wanted to run through some of the repairs that we do here. For some reason, cellos are blowing themselves apart with the weather changes last year and this year. It could be humidity, could be temperature swings. For whatever reason, in this area, cellos are just breaking. And here's some examples. Here's one cello with a typical top crack. It's actually got two. This little one here, which is very typical. This one's a little bit atypical. They can crack this far, but most of the time they're not this wide open. This is just sitting there with no stresses on it. Wide open. Going to be a difficult repair. We'll get into how that's done. We can also have what's called a saddle crack. This cello has a saddle crack. This is a smaller cello. You can see the repaired crack right there. It hasn't been touched up yet. We left it so that we can see it. And this little bit made of ebony is the saddle. And it just fits there on the end. And that's where the cable or wire of the tailpiece goes over where the strings connect, and that holds everything together. So that's typical damage, these cracks. Repairs look like this. This is a very atypical cello. This one has many cracks. Each row of these things called cleats represents a major crack in this cello. And this one has more now to repair. The front of the cello happens to be very thin and brittle, and that's one we have to repair yet. And a bunch of repairs around the saddle. This is a big project. Tough one on that cello. Another big thing that can go wrong is, well, the neck can break right off the cello. The neck and fingerboard and everything is all a piece, all one unit, and it mounts right in there. And as the weather changes, cellos flex like this. The fingerboard goes up and down because it changes with the expansion and contraction of the wood. But sometimes there's accidents or whatever, and the neck just breaks right off. Well, if that happens, and this button, so-called, this is called the button, is intact, well, the repair isn't terrible. But if the button breaks off or splits, it's a big problem because the button holds tremendous forces against the tension of the strings. So if the buttons broke off, you have to do a rebuild that expands out through this area of various types that a luthier only can do. That's a tricky job. This one's not so tricky. It might require a pin, but it's quite a bit more repairable than if the button's gone. So those are just a few of the repairs that we do at 10 Violin Shop. Oh, this one's scary.